So what was fun is Commanders-Lions end of the day. And as I said, it was 45-31 the final. High-scoring game, massive. So everything you love in football. Offense, scoring, big plays. Thank God we had that after Chiefs-Texans. And it wasn't like you come down from that high to Chiefs-Texans. Look, Kansas City wins 23-14. Mahomes played fantastic. Bad as it's been, and this is where Lions-Commanders was what is everything you love about football in the NFL. Chiefs-Texans is where the NFL needs to get it right because everyone's walking away talking about the, officiating. There was a personal foul on Will Anderson. There was the Mahomes flop. And there was also the, what was it? Unnecessary roughness, because I had to think it wasn't roughing the passer. The unnecessary roughness when Mahomes slid. And look, Chiefs won. Mahomes executed late. Great play to Travis Kelce. But again, this is all we're talking about is the officiating. First thing when you bring up the game.
Well, I think regardless, whether or not, the Chiefs were probably going to win this game.
Yeah.
And there was going to be something to combat them that wasn't X's and O's, right? And so it's tough. And I don't want to blame the refs because this is part of sports. Like refs make terrible calls all the time. Mm-hmm. But you do have to think that in the subconscious of the referees, this is the face of our league. This is Patrick Mahomes. This is the face of the league. Yeah. In their subconscious, as the refs, they're supposed to, protect the superstars. That people are going to really want to watch a game that is Mahomes versus Allen rather than Wentz versus Trubisky, right?
Yes.
Like that's just the storyline. If we're going to look at it from an alien out of the earth, what would they really want to see, right? And so you have to believe that is in the subconscious of the referees, but it does stink that we're waking up the next day and this is what we're talking about with this game.
The Chiefs won this game. They didn't win because of the refs, but the refs certainly had an influence on the game because the refs didn't have C.J. Stroud take a sack on 4th and 10, game on the line, still a one-score game, and flip it over to the Chiefs. Now, Chiefs 3-0, and they punted after that. And this is the Chiefs going to a 7th straight AFC Championship game. 6th at home. Since Patrick Mahomes has been a full-time starter for the Chiefs, it's been AFC Championship game or bust. And 3 of those AFC Championship games have resulted in Super Bowl wins. Only one of those after they get to the AFC Championship game have they lost in the Super Bowl. Because if you go year by year from last season backwards, Super Bowl win, lost to Joe Burrow in the AFC Championship game, lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and then AFC Championship game loss to Tom Brady and the Patriots. But that's what it's been for them. There's a Super Bowl win in there too, of course. Mahomes' first one. But that's what it's been. It's just undeniable success. But when it's a personal foul and unnecessary roughness, that takes away from the game. And with Mahomes, the Will Anderson one, in real time, people are like, no, I could see that. No, it was his helmet on his shoulder, and it was a bang-bang play. It's football. It's fast. And that extended the drive, and that resulted in a field goal instead of a punt. Then on the personal foul, the unnecessary roughness, there's Mahomes extending the play, slides. 2 defenders collide, and it's more dangerous for them than Mahomes. He's not even touched. They draw the flag. And then that ends up being a penalty, 15 yards, and results in a touchdown. And then later in the game, on the one that's not called, is Mahomes tiptoeing by the sideline, gets a little hand in his back, and acting like he's a soccer player, just flops and flails and falls down. That's what stinks. It's there's more eyeballs on it because it's Mahomes, because it's the Chiefs. You want to watch football, and then there are the ones that should be corrected, like the personal foul on Will Anderson. The unnecessary roughness on the 2 linebackers for the Texans, colliding heads, that's more dangerous for them than the quarterback. The NFL has to fix it and find a solution. To me, it's as simple of eye in the sky, have someone up in the booth. They have instant access to the replay, and just hit a button, get the refs here. Nope, pick up that flag, no foul, keep it going. Mm-hmm. Don't even bother with it.
100%. We have it for fumbles, we have it for interceptions, we have it for ball placement, whatever it is. And yes, it slows down the game. It might take more time, but this is playoff football. Yeah. There's not 50 games going on. There's 2 on a Saturday. We can get it done. There's time for it. And like you said, it's someone in a booth in New York. Quickly look at it. See, was it helmet? Was it chest? Figure it out because those, it's not determining the whole game, but those are big momentum shifts.
And it's not even for me. Yes, it may delay a sequence or the momentum by let's say 10 seconds, but there doesn't have to be the whole replay overdue. It is on plays like that where how quickly the broadcasts have access to instant replay in slow-mo, frame by frame, 17 different angles. It's just someone, whether in New York or in the building, up top, they have access, and they see it right away, and they go, no, ball's out, helmet on shoulder, pick up the flag, you're good.
Right.
Keep it right there.
Because you can't expect a ref to catch
too much
everything.
going on.
It's so much detail, right? You're right. There's so much going on. Sometimes they're probably a lot smaller than the guys that are hitting each other, right? So like you're going to miss it, but that's why you have experts in New York able to do that. So I think that's a great point, and I think that's something that definitely has to be brought up in the offseason.
And here was Will Anderson Jr., one of the guys that got the personal foul call against him. Defensive end for the Texans. Here's him after the game commenting about the officiating.
He has kept this organization, his team, all year, man. He has blessed us and favored us tremendously, man. And I just got to give all glory to him. And we knew it was going to be us against the refs going into this game. And, I talked to you guys early this week. And I was just saying, man, we got to go out there and we got to do us better. And, in some instances we didn't do that, some instances we did. So we just got to keep going, man. Next offseason, get the guys together, man. And, everybody just coming together and just keep building that team chemistry and get past this hump.
So you see him saying we would be us against the refs and everyone. I hate that. And even Miko Ryan's up at the podium after. He's like, we knew it'd be us against the world. He was like, against all the doubters and the naysayers, and cut himself off before he said the officials. The Chiefs won this one. They were outgained by 100 yards. The Texans didn't force a turnover. But it's like when you need Mahomes to make a play, getting taken down, 11-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce. Special teams making big plays as well. It's Mahomes executing late. It's Spagnuolo going down blitzing. Again, the fact that we walk away, though, and we're just talking about the officiating. And for Mahomes, as much as I hate to see him flop and how he's extending plays and put in this position, if you're going to get those calls, you're going to do it. So if the NFL doesn't want Mahomes putting himself in this situation, Mahomes doesn't want the hate, take away those rules and set up something with instant replays so no one's put in that position.
Right. And I don't think he's purposefully embellishing it, but when you know that it's probably going to go in your favor,
you'll play it a little.
You're going to play, you're going to play it a little. Like I experienced that in women's lacrosse when we would play girls who we knew would flop or we knew, we would play to their tendencies. Hey, you might be guarding this girl, you might be on her matchup. She is going to flop, so you need to make sure that you're overly excessively showing the ref that you are not hitting her in a certain way. And I think that's the same thing with the Texans here is like they all said, right? Ryans, Anderson, Stroud, Mixon even saw, like they all knew, we knew going into this game that it was going to be this way. We knew that the refs, without, those guys will get fined for saying refs instead of everybody, but we knew how it was going to be. Then it's like, okay, then you have to cater your scouting report. You have to cater your game plan to that. Break down your feet when Mahomes is sliding, right? Like don't come near his head or stay away from his head, like tackle lower. And I think, yes, it's a fast game. It's hard to, think about all those small little details. But just in my own athletic experience, when somebody is going to, adhere towards different things with the refs, or know how the refs are going to call it against certain teams, and when you play at the highest level against superstars, you know that the refs are human. You know that that's going to be in the back of their head, and so you just have to also add that little detail into your scouting report.
The Texans 10 for 17 on third down. Chiefs were 4 and 11. Texans had 18 first downs. Chiefs only had 14. Texans outgained the Chiefs by 120 total yards, held the Chiefs to 50 rushing yards, and then again, when it comes to the turnovers, clean slate for them, and they lost. That's Mahomes and the Chiefs. Again, and I go back to what the sequence was. About to go down, throws that touchdown to Kelce. Defense on the other side forces a turnover on downs. The Chiefs are a team that keeps it close enough, and then Mahomes and that defense shines through when it matters most. Stinks for the Texans. And this was a team, the thing with all this, though, is like as much as the Texans side may be complaining, the Chiefs, I feel like it should have never been this close. Because Houston, that offensive line is really worrisome. The offense hasn't been efficient all year. Like Kansas City, this is a game where you want to see them come out and win 31-14 or 35-14 or even, 35-21. Who cares? But show that dominance, and they haven't. So I still have a concern for KC. I'm like, what kind of team are you? And it's not the officiating. It's just this offensive line isn't the best. The defense is really good, but this offense seems to not be able to find consistency enough. And then you'll see, who do they get in the AFC Championship game? But this Chiefs team, it's like, I don't want to doubt against number 15. I don't want to doubt and bet against Andy Reid. But this team has not shown me enough yet to be like, well, they're going to do it again, aside from they've done it twice before the last 2 years.
Well, I think that's what's dangerous about them, right? Is because they're not fully, throwing
Not
all their
playing their
weapons
best.
out at all. I don't even think they had more than one wide receiver catch in that game. Something crazy like that, right?
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce stepped up big, and I don't even think the Texans were really covering him at all in that game. But that is what makes the Chiefs so dangerous, is that they're not explosive on every single play. They're not playing what you would think of the best team in the NFL. They're not executing at that level consistently for the entire game. And so that's what really makes them scary, because you can have a team like the Texans who outgained them in yards in the game. Like, they had no turnovers.
Outperformed them every metric.
Outperformed them everywhere. But the clutchness really of the Chiefs to be able to have those touchdown when they need it, that's what makes them unstoppable.
Yeah, and you're right. It was only Xavier Worthy that had a reception out of receivers. It was Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Xavier Worthy. That's it. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, and DeAndre Hopkins. No catches for them. You see Caitlin,
DeAndre Hopkins, like,
right, one of the best receivers.
It's like, and they didn't even use him.
I was actually pausing for you saw who was in the suite. How many times did they mention Taylor Swift?
A good amount.
Right?
A good amount.
And look, I'm not, she's going to get mentioned. I'm not hating that Taylor Swift's going to get mentioned. But it's the funniest thing when they show the suite and it's Caitlin Clark and Taylor Swift. I think like the two most famous females associated with sports overall right now.
But they weren't sitting together initially.
Oh, they weren't?
There was a shot of them and they were on different sides of the box.
You think?
I really want to know, like...
You think? Sit next to each other.
No, I want to know like how it went. Oh, hey,
They
girl,
got a
come
call.
sit next to me.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come down the front row, whatever it was. But Caitlin Clark did reveal that Taylor like gave her a little swag bag and a message and the invite to come to a Chiefs game when she was playing at Lucas Oil.
Interesting.
And I know Caitlin had expressed like publicly how she was a Taylor Swift fan.
And she's a Chiefs fan growing up too.
You're right. And so
Caitlin
I'm
Clark.
super excited that we actually saw that happen. And man, like just cool for Caitlin Clark too, because I just remember last week on Respect Your Game we were talking about the creepy, disgusting stalker man that Caitlin Clark had to deal with. And then I'm just thinking like human to human, like you deal with that. That sucks, right?
Yes.
You deal with that. And then you get to go sit next to Taylor Swift in the front row of a box at a playoff game.
Yeah.
At Arrowhead? Like, come on. So I was more so, as much as it's like, oh, the Taylor Swift thing, we're talking about it again. I'm like, you know what? Cool for Caitlin Clark, because that must have been a really fun experience. I can just imagine her going to Taylor Swift concerts growing up just as a fan. And so just exciting for her, because you deal with a lot when you're in the light and
especially
the good
like
and
her.
the bad. And it's exciting for her to have that experience.
It's good to have the good be that good.
Yeah.
You know, like
oh,
that
so
high.
good. Are you kidding me?
I just think it was funny of when, like, was watching the game, stepped aside right before half, then go into the second half, put it on, right away it's Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark. Kelce touchdown, cut away to Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark.
This production team
know
that
what
is
they're doing.
covering, they know what they're doing.
Look, and as always, like, you know, people may hate on it, where it's like, oh, I don't want to see that. All right. It's, let's say, 5 times a game they show them. Let's say the shot is up for 5 seconds. 25 seconds out of your day. That can turn you off from football. The audience it brings, the more eyeballs it brings on it, I'm all for it. And like you said, to see how Taylor Swift has like embraced dating Travis Kelce, everything that comes with it. It's the most popular team in the world right now. And then for Caitlin Clark, a lifelong Chiefs fan, because she grew up in Iowa. You know, they don't have anything up there. For her to be in that position, like, that's awesome. Take the perks and the stuff that you dream of.
Well, it's super normal, too. Like, you think about the NBA. Anytime there's a celebrity sitting courtside, it's on the Jumbotron. They're showing it on the broadcast. It's just the NFL that more recently they've been cutting to celebrities and wives or famous girlfriends in the stands. And so I think that's why everyone's a little like, why are we showing this girl? Why are we showing this? Like, this happens in a lot of sports all the time.
Exactly. This one's just the most famous, like... significant other of an athlete ever. It was like when Taylor Swift ever. I honestly think
it is. I totally agree.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it is. This is a big deal.
That's like, it's literally like Taylor Swift now has become a Taylor Swift podcast. She is, and like I don't really listen to the music. Certain songs that I like. I think I said that on a prior episode and people hated me for it. They're like, you're not even a real fan. I'm like, I'm just admitting. I'm just admitting, like, am I a fan? Am I a Swiftie? No. Do I appreciate her music and her art? Yes.
Cool. The Swifties are going to have their own category, and you don't want to, like, bring them down by being in it.
And I'm not.
You got to hit a certain, like, caliber of knowledge.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Admiration. Yeah. You're just like, you do your thing.
Appreciate the existence.
Yes.
You know, would love to go to a show. I bet it would be a great experience and overall. I say all that because it's like what she is. She's one of the most famous people, performers, you can say actors, musicians, whatever, in the world right now. So that's the eyeballs that come with it. It was like when the Chiefs played the Patriots last season in Gillette. I remember it was like, I think week 17, let's say. So they have 12 losses at that point, maybe 11. They're about to get their 12th. And I was like, do I go in the building and just watch like a really bad football team warm up, albeit it was the Chiefs, so I could watch them? Or do I go outside and wait for Taylor Swift's arrival? And I was one of hundreds of people.
Yes, okay.
And I did the whole thing of like, all right, let me find this jet. Okay, she's coming from here.
No way.
Oh, I swear to God. And then I found a video from the airport in Rhode Island, so I knew the convoy was like a Ford expedition.
It's kind of fun. It's
two
like
Tahoes.
a game show.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And like cars are coming. I'm like, nope, that's not it. Nope. I'm like, oh, here we go. And it was the commotion that comes out of as she was about to arrive. You just saw like the Stadies and the sheriffs and whoever, like everyone getting in position. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
For 5 seconds of her getting out of truck, into tunnel, into Gillette, and going up. And I was like, cool. I saw Taylor Swift in person.
That's so good. The way you described that reminded me of like on Christmas when I was growing up, the Santa tracker. My parents would have like an app. It'd be like, Santa is in Canada. Now he's in Africa. He's headed to Texas.
Yes.
Like that's how it kind of made me feel when you were describing that. But it is what it is. And you know what? Like sports are entertainment and it just adds to it. And it is fun.
Yeah. I'm all for it. I'm all for what it brings with it, especially like if you're covering a bad Patriots team. Give me the Swifties. Give me Taylor Swift. Give me
Patriots
something.
fans were cheering for Taylor when she came on the Jumbotron
my
at
God,
that
like
game.
crazy.
I remember people were posting it all over their Instagram stories like, Taylor's here. Taylor's here. You know, like forget the Pats game.
Yeah.
Like, Taylor was at the stadium.
Oh, yeah. Now I understand when people are like, they were like the Beatles or like experienced the Beatles.
One Direction.
Yeah.
New era.
Same thing. Now it's
Same
Taylor
thing.
Swift.
Same thing. Yeah.
Never got into One Direction. Can't name a single song. Again.
It's okay.
Not hating. I don't think
I'm
I've
not
ever...
going to come after you, but I was a Directioner.